Urmează să avem un speaker ce ne va vorbi despre punctele critice pe care un brand le parcurge în tranziția spre o economie circulară. Colegul meu, Cristian Bădescu, ne va face legătura cu...
Mulțumesc, Carol, am o misiune specială în seara asta pentru că sunt Cristi Bădescu, fac parte din echipa Piața. Avem un invitat special în seara asta, vine din afara țării, așa că o să vă cer permisiunea să vorbesc puțin în engleză. We have a special guest speaker this evening. Probably we all know that Cambridge University is the first in the world institution which develops years ago a master training program addressing circularity and sustainability. Therefore, I have the pleasure to introduce you Mrs. Ana Quintas. Ana Quintas is a managing consultant for sustainability and circular economy at ICF Consulting and also program leader for the circular economy and sustainability strategies program of the University of Cambridge Just Business School. Hello, Anna, and welcome.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me well.
Thank you for joining us this evening. So we are all waiting for your speech. Next 50 minutes are yours. Hello, Anna.
Thank you very much, and apologize for my lack of Romanian. I heard that is very similar to Portuguese, my home language, but I will try to keep my English a bit slowly than usual, so everyone can follow my presentation. I will just start by sharing my screen, and I hope everyone can see it. If someone can confirm that, I will really appreciate that. Can you see my presentation? Hello?
Yes.
Can you please confirm that you can see my presentation?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. I was just not sure that if you're seeing or not. Thank you very much for the invite and to be here with you today. As Christy kindly introduced me, I'm Ana Quintas. I'm a managing consultant for ICF. I'm responsible for a team that provides advisory and consultancy in sustainability and circular economy. And along with that position, I was also like a program leader for the circular economy and sustainability strategies program from the Cambridge University Judge Business School. We had the first run of this program that ended at the beginning of June, and we are running already the second cohort. So lots of interests and lots of really engaging and exciting people working in sustainability and wants to learn more about circular economy. And that's the very good side that that this topic is really relevant for most of the industries, as well as for some of the companies. I will try to change my slides. Yes, so just a bit of background about ICF. So we have been in the market since 1969, and we are not a typical consultancy firm with typical consultants. We are more than 7,000. We like to call us creative and doers that work with our clients to make big things possible. We work for the private and public sector, as well as providing support for government and organizations. We like to say on the corporate sustainability that we have one shop stop that we can offer different types of service to our clients depending on their needs, as well as the stage that they are on the sustainability road map. So we are working with different clients and different organizations. Some of them just helping to understand what is this corporate sustainability topic, what is this carbon agenda, and a few others that already did part of the journey and wants to improve even more what they are their targets and what they can offer to their business. And speaking on the main topic, and that's why I have been here this evening with you. So we live in an era that we just extract materials from the earth and from the soil. We kind of transform and manufacture them, and the majority of these resources end up being with no value at the end of their life. Fortunately, and we can see from probably most of your presentations today, we have very good examples that progress has been done over the last years, and the end-of-life solutions are much more to keep the value of the resources and not just as waste. So just a bit of context, and I apologize for the numbers, but I keep thinking that presenting the numbers may make us very conscious of what's happening in our context. And if we continue to live and we continue to perform and doing business the way we do at this moment, we might need to find another 2 planets by 2050 to provide just the natural resources to sustain our current lifestyle. And then there's a few other stats in here related with raw materials, and especially this last year that everyone was kind of heated by the COVID situation. I guess that this 95% number, that is the average time a car is parked, increased almost to 100% on average. And is this way that makes our economy very linear. So we just extract materials, we process them, and they end up with no value at the end. And we must and we need to transform these elements that is the take, make, and waste system in practice, and we need to move and do the transition from a linear to a circular economy. Again, a few more numbers, and these are numbers from one of the last reports from the European Commission about the potential of circular economy across Europe, and probably most of you are aware of the recent initiatives around the circular economy package for EU, as well as like other initiatives that will just be published in the next few months, like the Sustainable Products Initiative, Eco-Design Directives, and so on, that all of these initiatives will start embedding the circular economy principles. I'm not sure yet. I just heard on the radio a few hours ago that across Europe, different countries are trying to approve these resilience plans for COVID. And I didn't have time, and apologize for that, to check the Romanian plan, but I'm sure that it will be something there related with the Green Deal, as well as this concept of becoming more circular. So I recommend it to watch that space, because probably that will provide us some more information. This slide is just like a kind of a reminder for us, and special because today you asked me to approach how companies and brands can can embed this circularity and circular economy concept in their business. And I think is important to remember which are the circular economy principles. These ones are the ones defined by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And I also left here a kind of a definition, so you can go back to the slides when you need it. And the reason why I presented here the principles is just because sometimes we are so embedded and so immersed in our day-by-day work that we don't have time to think about what is the concept itself. And when we speak in circular economy, for some people, we are just talking about waste, about packaging, how we can reduce the amount of resources we use. And it's a bit more than that. It's about the design, is about to think about the products and the service that the companies are providing. It's thinking about how we can replace, how we can reuse, how we can extend durability of our products and service, so people don't need so much the products. It's about keeping these products in use and materials in use as long as possible. And this brings some trade-offs, like if we are saying that a washing machine needs to be durable for 10 years, after 5 years, it might become not energy efficient. And it's this kind of analysis and assessments that as manufacturers and suppliers of products, we need to consider, we need to be aware. And so that's why I keep saying that it's quite important to review the basics in terms of our approach. And then the third principle is related with natural systems. And sometimes we know that not all organizations work with nature itself, but it might be the case that on our day by day or on our routine as an employee, we can start looking at the way that our employers or our organizations behave in terms of nature, and if we can bring that to our work routine. I will present at the end a few examples, and hopefully that will help you to understand a bit better. But I think the question in here is how to build a circular economy, and especially from a business perspective. And I think I highlighted here three main areas that I think they are really important, and is about innovation, is about the materials we use, the process manufacturers use, the service or the product design. It's about thinking if we can do better than we are doing or not. And sometimes it happens that we might have an idea, we might want to achieve something, but the technology might not be there, and that might need to be developed. And I think the good thing about circular economy is the collaboration and interaction between different partners and different organizations. And we are seeing every day new startups appearing with very innovative solutions that, together with organizations that have more scale, can become a very good and now the word it's just not happening, can be a very good partnership. So innovation is a key area, and the other one is about the new business models, is about reviewing the business models that we organizations have been using for the last years, and see if that's still valuable or not for their customers, or if there is new business models that can be implemented to achieve new markets, for instance, or achieve new customers, even new generations that we know that they are very aware of some of these. And then lastly is about, again, collaboration and user behavior. It's how we can work better together with one objective, that is to become more sustainable, more circular, and it's also about to enable different conditions that sometimes we can't as one organization, but if we put together a sector or a different group within an industry, we might be able to scale up a solution, and that's very, very important. I have here like a graphic that was published by IPEA, a German-Dutch company, and basically they talk about eco-effectiveness, and that's when we start growing the positive impact normally across the time, the negative one will start reducing. I think the questions that organizations should be asking is, who are the customers, who are the clients, who is the supply chain, and work with them. The objectives and priorities, they need to be very clear to help understand exactly what they want to achieve, and then what is their motivation. And I don't know if you mentioned today or not, but we have been seeing over the last year or so, lots of different initiatives from different organizations, and then the wording greenwashing is appearing on our daily basis with different companies that we almost truly believe that they were being innovative, they were being sustainable, and then at the end, there was just like almost a marketing perspective. I'm not totally against that. I'm just conscious that as a consumer, we are better informed than we were in the past. And so the risk for companies to advertise something that they are not totally sure, or they are just not robust, the idea yet, might be more risky for their reputation than anything else. And then I just brought this from one of the slides from the Cambridge program that is about the benefits of having this circular economy embedded in the in our organizations. One size doesn't fit everything or doesn't fit all, and there are many ways to approach a problem to find a circular solution. So the benefits might be around reduce the natural resources, reduce waste, reduce costs, and even achieve the 3 Ps, that is people, planet, and profit. But for me, is also like reduce the risk of that organizations might face in our days, and probably most of us were hit in some way by this COVID situation. If nothing else, I believe you are attending this event on outdoor space, and on a normal situation, we will be face to face and happily trying to networking and learn from each other. So the other day, I can give you an example. I have a client that came to me and said, Anna, we need to develop this planning tool that will bring together different types of data, different types of information, so we can reduce and minimize our risk as much as we can. And we were talking about like supply chain, we're talking about availability of materials, we are talking about availability of worksheet that might not be able, even like if a country will have elections or not, the rain, the months of rain. So if we bring all this together, and circular economy allows us to have this holistic perspective, for sure we will be reducing the risk considerable. And I think then as an organization, it's very important that when we are pitching an idea, and in most of our cases, as circular economy responsibles or consultants, most of our work is trying to convince someone that our idea is a good idea. And I think it's important to clearly identify to which individual or each department we are pitching, and that's what this this graphic is. That is, if we're talking about the management team, if we're talking about the procurement, what are their priorities? If we're talking about to the R&D and innovation team, that probably is the one that is more keen to align with our idea, because they just focus on being ahead of the game. And then again, if we're talking about the marketing team, putting together a marketing campaign and how we can pitch the idea. So it's very important to define exactly to who we are talking to, and even on a business perspective to our consumers, it's very important to identify exactly to what is our market and what might be the case. I remember, so I think I haven't mentioned, but I'm based in London, and a few years ago, I remember that the plastic was already like a topic that I was following very close, because we knew that was a massive issue. But if the Blue Planet, that was a David Attenborough film, was not on the BBC on a Sunday evening when the weather was not great, so everyone was at home watching that program, that was the change that made everyone really aware of the situation. And then we could see the civil society pushing the government, pushing the private sector, pushing public organizations, and that was definitely the change and the turning point to start taking action related with plastic. And we have been seeing similar events happening. We have Greta, that just became from a little schoolgirl doing strike because climate change to become one of the most influencers in the world, and so on. So it's very important that we define exactly to who we are talking about and be aware of the impact that might have. And on that perspective, I just put this slide together with the need to have new enablers that, and I just had it here, a few questions that I think are very relevant, like what new markets needs that we can meet, what do our customers need, what potential new customers, and as well be very aware of new policies and regulations and how that can impact our business, our way that we consume goods, and so on. I'm doing some work related with, for instance, recycling content. And one of the struggles that, or of the challenges that I'm facing now, is that if any country decided to impose a percentage of recycled content, for instance, the market might not be ready yet to provide that percentage of recycled materials available to produce a new product. So the measures sometimes, they need to be completely looked on a very holistic and integrated way, just to be sure that we are not taking a step bigger than we should. And I think to finalize, I'm not sure about my time, but probably I'm over time now. And I can provide you some examples from, and I try to bring together different examples with different types of big business models. So we have like the Amsterdam Sharing City, that is an initiative that is looking at the policy level, how the Amsterdam city can become the most circular in the world, and they are integrated new business ideas to just approach this sharing economy to support the goals of the living, and that's something like sharing platforms, as well as mitigating and identifying different risks. And then we have the new eco-design requirements, that is the need to provide spare parts to keep products in use for longer. And this is just basically working at the manufacturer level, but also on the consumers to extend and be more aware of our goods to be in use for longer. And that in the same aspect, we have this premature obsolescence that is kind of initiatives, mainly in Belgium and France, that they are looking very closely to different types of initiatives that can avoid that products become obsolescence in a few years. And then we have some examples like sharing and pooling service, like the Zip car in London and in many cities, that I don't own a car anymore. When I need a car, I just rent for the time I need. So I don't own the asset, and the business model is more like business to a consumer, B2C, but there's other solutions as well. So we have the odd box that is like a farm box that farmers, instead of landfill odd products that they are not commercially viable, they just sell them, this surplus, to customers as well as business. We have the IKEA example on remanufacturing the furniture. And then I have here some more examples on the procurement, new policies like the Reversibility Index in France, the material passports that is about providing more information to consumers, more information to the clients. So this example of the material passport is at the building level. So if we know exactly what are or which are the materials on a building, we might be able to recover part of the materials when we need to do a refurbishment or we need to do a demolition, and that's keeping the value of the resource as longer as possible. And I think a very good example is this Close the Loop. So Loop is a company that I think, I'm not sure exactly when they were launched, but definitely they start commercializing their products last year. So together with some supermarkets in the UK and big organizations, they start with one or two products, I think. So it was a very progressive business plan they have. So they started together with the major supermarkets to allow people to buy some of these brands with reusable packaging. So basically, when we were buying, I don't know, like a ketchup sauce, I was just buying the ketchup itself. It was provided on a packaging that I need to return on my next shop. So I remember because I used them a few times, and they start at the beginning with just 2 or 3 products available, and then they start increasing the number of products providing this type of service, because probably the demanding was higher and higher. And then we have other business models like light as a service. We don't buy any more bulbs or lamps. We just buy the number of hours of daylight or the light that we need. And then the companies, they provide exactly, they provided the rest of the service. I'm not saying that this will avoid all of the issues that we are facing, because with servitization, we are just passing the responsibility to a different player, but it's about the scale up, it's about the possibility to scale up some of the solutions, like, for instance, recycling used lamps and so on. And then we have here a concept around reversibility, that it is about the design again, is when we are start thinking about an issue, if we want that to continue or not. And this is the velodrome from the Olympic Games in London, and they knew that in the future they will not need so many seats for a normal competition. So basically the designer needs to design a stadium that could be reduced inside, so to allow this reduce. So everything was done in a reversible design way, in terms that was this flexibility that was provided. And then there's a few other examples here. I could provide you lots and lots of different examples. I think I would like to summarize this presentation with it's not an easy journey. It will take time. It will take probably more time that most of us would like to accept. It will be easier for some organizations than others, even for some industries than others. We know that there are some industries more resistant to change and resistant to this transformation than others. I think one advice from my experience is that sometimes we need even more collaboration, even more partnership to be able to scale up solutions, to be able to even gather the information we need that might not be available. And depending on the size and the type of organization, again, that might be easier for, I don't know, organizations with already like a proper sustainability team or a proper investment in these areas. But on the opposite, it might be easy for someone that doesn't have anything and just starting the journey from scratch, and they want to start it very, very well. And that's it. I think it's good news. I'm always feeling very positive speaking about circular economy and sustainability, because I think the transition is already happening and all of us are part of it. And thank you very much, and please get in touch. And I guess that I'm trying to answer to some questions now.
Thank you very much, Anna, for your presentation. If there are any questions, we like to hear it now.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, I guess, Anna, your presentation was a complete one, really circular by the Greek meaning of word. Thank you very much again, and I hope to see you soon.
Hope so as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.